As First Lady, Mrs. Sandra Granger has made a monumental impact in the lives of women in Guyana. Through her office, she executes self-reliance and success in business workshops, workshops in elderly care, early childhood development, and information communication technology. We sat down with Mrs. Granger to talk about her experiences, her work as First Lady, and her vision for Guyana.
I grew up in an environment where little children were not, the rudeness was not tolerated. We had to have respect for any older person, regardless of who that person was. And this is why people of my generation would talk about the Greens lady or the postman. We would never call them, as we would say, full mouth. Everybody was Mr., Auntie, or Uncle. And I grew up in a neighborhood where we had civil servants, we had policemen, we had teachers, we had two gentlemen who had a dray car that we would to see them at the corner and jump on to ride down till they got in. A police bandsman, a diverse, both ethnically, racially, and everything else. Neighborhood with lots of children. My family comprised 8 kids. I was number 3, which means I was always in a position of being spoken to. My teachers used to say I had this propensity for nonsense, and I used to be put out of class very often in my youth, particularly in my early years at high school. But I am grateful for it, because every time I was put out, I was given a passage of Shakespeare to learn, which I can remember to this day. I know Julius Caesar, As You Like It, everything that might have been taught, I was put out of the class and I had to learn a passage before I got back into the class. And my view is if we educate people, they will tend to make more intelligent decisions about their lives. And what we have found is that when we teach these out-of-school youth and adolescents about sexual and reproductive health in the ICT workshops which my office coordinates, the kids are learning things that they ought to have learned in primary and early secondary school. So I think it is necessary. And sometimes the parents say, well, they didn't even know themselves. Too often, young girls in particular, in my experience, and some women, feel that they have to be defined by whoever is the male partner or the male authority figure in the house. But it isn't that. It isn't as simple as that. I have had, young women, I think from our first workshop at Lusignan, when we did the Success in Business workshop, and one of the young women said, you know, this is the first paper I have apart from my birth paper. The first time she got something recognizing a skill and her knowledge was the certificate she got in the Success in Business workshop. And that opened to them ideas of the things they could do. It is estimated 90% of the work women do will become obsolete because they'll either have it online or some gadget will be doing it. So if we're not forward thinking, especially when you think of where Guyana is now, and where we want it to be, I think we owe it to our young people to train them so that they know they can be very comfortable in the world of ICT.
The Office of the First Lady has a very small budget, most of which Mrs. Granger invested in remedial classes for children in the communities of Buxton and Lusignan on the east coast of Demerara. Seeking additional sources of funding to support her work, Mrs. Granger has had to work closely with the Ministry of Social Protection and other independent contributors.
I have been able to get them through project funds. I have also been very blessed by the donations I get from some groups and persons locally and in the diaspora. Through these donations and other donations that people make, there are some social workers in New York, Guyanese, who would say, could you do something for the teen mothers? And so we can afford to have glam days for the people in the Palms and other senior citizens' homes, which are completely funded by donations.
Mrs. Granger has executed workshops across all 10 administrative regions of the country. This is what beneficiaries say about the impact of her work and how it has changed their lives.
From the smallest thing in the training, help us to start thinking different. You know, we want to be out there, we want to be involved, we want to create stuff, we want to see our young people develop, and we want to be a part. You know, we want to be a part in helping them to get to a certain level. So I think in terms of women development, it's very, very good.
You know, years ago, people in Sophia, we feel that, oh, we're not really counted. But then to have the First Lady come in and do these projects in here, it uplifts us a lot. It uplifts the community a lot. People feel real appreciated, and they know that the government have this area at heart, and they're going to do a lot for us.
As a young girl, outside of the class, reading Julius Caesar, do you think, did you ever fathom that you'd one day be the leading lady of the country?
Never in this life, in dreams or anything else. I never anticipated it, and I never thought about it. I think God gives you a path to follow, and it's up to you to make the best of it. And I have to say that I have enjoyed what I'm doing. I have been blessed with the staff I have at State House and in my office.
What would you say to those persons who would have sent or said so many or expressed such good sentiments about your role and what you've been doing as First Lady?
Well, I would like to thank them for the support, and because it's only through the support that we continue to do what we do, and we hope that it continues to encourage and empower other women and young people. I have a focus on not only getting it done, but to ensure that what I do has some meaning beyond the end of the workshop, and that it as that woman said, it showed her that she can play an active role in her community and in her business, as well as in her family life.
Finally, Madam First Lady, what I wanted to get from you is your vision for Guyana, especially Guyanese women.
Well, I would like to see women becoming more confident in roles of leadership, and it doesn't mean only in big business or government, but also in any kind of organization or business in which they are involved. It could be a mother's union, it could be a daycare group in your community, because my other vision is that we have daycare and senior care centers in all our communities, so that the society doesn't only become more cohesive, but that the older people continue to feel a part of the society and necessary to it. And the young people can go to work knowing their seniors, their grandmother, great aunt, uncle, whatever, is taken care of and active. And it gives them a full life. And they will, if we have the two close, the child care and the senior care, close to each other, they will be minding the young people's business. And they will be getting fun out of it. And the young children will be understanding what it is to be an older person and how they should interact with those people. And my second dream is to drive from Linden to Lytton on a paved highway before I die.